I want to talk about Snatch Game and which Snatch games, well, not which, I'm going to talk about all of them, but which other queen could have won the Snatch Game as well. So think of it as a double win. I think Snatch Game arguably is the most anticipated challenge on Drag Race. Even though lately it feels like a lot of the Drag Race Snatch Games have been a bit of a letdown, where instead of it feeling like a decent handful of the queens are doing well, it's only maybe one, maybe two if we're lucky. But it's one of those challenges that I just always look forward to. I look forward to who they're going to play, how they're going to do them, and, of course, who's going to show some comedic chops, because this, I think, more than any challenge, arguably maybe a branding challenge, I think shows who could really be a great winner. I can't think of many queens who have won who didn't at least do well in Snatch Game. Obviously, not every winner has won Snatch Game, but it feels like most of them were either winners, tops, or they were safe. I can't think of, and we'll see as I go through this, if there's been anyone who, well, actually, they were in the bottom, saved themselves, but they were in the bottom. So starting with season two, because we didn't have one in season one, Tatiana won as Britney Spears, and I think this is probably the easiest. Well, duh, this would be the other, would be Pandora Box as, oh, what is that lady's name? Cheryl Channing. Or is it Carol? Carol. I mean, everyone always confuses Pandora for actually winning this episode when it was actually Tatiana. But those two were amazing. Nobody else came close to being a possible winner next to those two. So definitely Tatiana and Pandora could have been a double win. Oh, I also feel like the Snatch Game is one of those episodes or one of those challenges that if they do a double win, I don't think we would be upset if there were two really good, because it takes so much to do. I don't feel like season 7 should be the only double win that we have so far. Like, there should have been more before and after. Anyway, so season 3, we had Miss Stacey Lynn Matthews win as Monique, which she did an amazing job. Even though she more so did Monique as an actor when in her role of Precious, she still did amazing. But I think who could have been a double win with her would have been Alexis as Alicia Keys. I think the judges were pretty spot on about Raja. She could have taken it further as Tyra, but Alexis was just so funny as a butch Alicia Keys, and she looked like her. It was a great night for Alexis. Season 4, we had Chad win as Cher, and I think Willem could have been a double win with her. Her Jessica Simpson was so funny. I don't know why more queens don't do these ditzy bimbo celebrities anymore, because if you're kind of stuck on who to choose, pick someone that's always people kind of mock a little bit, and you got it. There's a lot of queens who do really great doing that kind of ditzy. Look at how Tatiana did as Britney, and of course Willem doing as Jessica Simpson. I thought it was so funny. She did a really great job just playing spaced out, sweet bimbo Jessica Simpson back then. Season 5, we had Jinx Monsoon as Little Edie, revolutionary, and I love that her as well as Kennedy really showed that you can pick obscure characters or celebrities and it can work, because Little Edie as the queen showed on that season, I think most people were like, who is that? And it worked. She was really funny. It was really memorable. She volleyed really well with some of the other queens on the Snatch Game, and so it really showed that you don't have to pick someone extremely well known like what most queens do. You can pick someone who's not that well known and still do amazing with it. Now, I do feel that Roxy did a really great job as Tamar. Now, Tamar back in the 2010s, and I knew this from watching the Braxtons, was a really loud, exuberant person. Very Roxy esque back then, especially in 2013. And I thought she did a really great job. She looked like her, she acted like her, and the fact that we got to see Tamar a couple seasons later on the Snatch game really was like, yeah, no, she definitely nailed her. She could have been a double win with her. Now, season six has my favorite Snatch game because that had so many amazing performances that I'm like, I don't know how they chose those three, because you could have also had because then the top three was Dayla winning, of course, and then Bianca, and there was a door, but Darian Lake could have been up there, Jocelyn could have been up there. The only ones that were kind of duds was Gia and Trinity to me, and a little bit of Milk. I personally would have switched Laganja with Trinity, because Trinity was she was Nicki Minaj, and she was trying to do the wigs, and she was like, oh, I didn't write anything down. It just didn't go anywhere. At least Laganja's to me was a little bit memorable with the way that she talked, but they were clearly going for something with Laganja and her demeanor. So anyway, but that is one season that I'm just like, I get Dayla winning, but man, Bianca should have won. I loved her Judge Judy. It was perfect. She did a really great job. And I remember when season 7 happened and they did that double win, I was like, oh, why couldn't y'all just do that season 6? Because that was pure gold. I love Bianca as Judge Judy, and even Adore as Anna Nicole Smith, even though I think some of the judges were kind of feeling like she kind of played a little bit herself, which, you know, you could arguably say about Bianca and the brashness that Judge Judy does. But either way, I hands down first double win for Snatch Game should have been Bianca and Dayla. Now, jumping into season 7, as I said, they had the double win, first and only double win of a Snatch Game. And like I was saying, Kennedy chose a male figure. And especially given that Kennedy was a pageant queen, it was really surprising, because it's like, you are a pageant, you would think you would do a traditional female character, and she chose Little Richard. And yeah, it was amazing. She was so funny. And then Adele with Ginger as Adele was really good. So obviously that is a double win. My only thing with that one, I would have just switched Katya and Pearl, because Pearl's Big Ange was just hilarious. I still think about it. No, we were poor. It was, I love it. All right, season 8. Season 8, we had Bob winning, who played 2 characters. I wish Bob had just stuck with Crazy Eyes, because I think she did much better, but both of hers were really great. However, a double win with her definitely would have been Thorgy as Michael Jackson. Her Michael Jackson, it was so funny. I don't feel like it gets talked about or mentioned enough. Like when people talk about, you know, people who've done the male drag, like Bendela from All Stars, or who was it? Of course, not Trinity, Kennedy with Little Richard. People forget about Thorgy as Michael. Like, that was amazing, because she specifically did Michael in his later years. Like, this was him in the early 2000s when he had a kid, and the whole like blanket thing, like that's what she was more so doing. But it was amazing. I loved her Michael Jackson. Season 9 was it was Alexis Michelle. She did Liza Minnelli, and I remember feeling like that could have also been Sasha Velour's, what's her name? Merlene Dietrich, something like that. But that could have been her win because at that point it felt like Sasha was so close to getting wins and she already had a double win, but I was like, oh, that, like, for me that could have been Sasha's solo win, and maybe her winning later on in the season people would have respected a bit more because it would have felt like, well, at least she was able to get at least one solo win. Season 10 was Aquaria as Melania, and she did a really good job. And hers was extremely surprising, given that she never really showed great comedic chops up to that point. So she did a really good job, and she really hit doing the things about, mistaken RuPaul as Obama. It was perfect, but I also think a double win for that could have been Monet as Maya Angelou because it was hilarious. She did a really funny job. And the fact that, and I think Michelle even pointed this out either during critiques or on the stage with Monet, but she said it, that's how you do it, because we had just had Chi Chi do Maya not so well on the recent All Stars, and it was like, this is how you do it. So Monet, hands down, definitely could have been that double win with her. Season 11 was, what is her name? Silky as T.S. Madison. I think she did a decent job for sure. I probably would have had the double win with her be actually Sugar. Sugar's Charo was really funny. You could tell she was committed. And you double that with her incredible purple plum runway that Rue herself even was like, that dress. Like, because I know that Nina West, this was seen as her challenge to win because she's a comedy queen. Everyone thinks comedy queens are going to kill Snatch Game. And she did do really well, but she kind of got sucked into I'm going to do two characters. It didn't really work out too well. I don't think her runway was amazing, especially compared to Sugar's, which was so great. Season 12 was Gigi as, what was her name? She was a robot. I can't remember the robot's name. Maria the robot. And I would have said Jackie Cox. She played a housewife. The name escapes me, but she did a really great impersonation of her. So I think Jackie, because Jackie never got a win on Drag Race. And then the fact that she came back recently for the Canada's All-Star and she went out first. I'm like, oh, Jackie. So yeah, I think Jackie could have been a double win. I do think Gigi was the winner, and I think her runway was so cute as a little ice cream person, but yeah, Jackie could have been up there as a double win with her. Season 13 was Gottmik as Paris Hilton. Really spot on impersonation. My favorite thing was when the Snatch Game started and she was talking in like a regular voice, and during the introductions, and RuPaul was like, oh yeah, we're filming, and then she changed her voice. It was like, because that was at that time, that was when Paris had come out with everything about how she talks, how she was back in the day. So it was just like, it was perfect. Now I'm gonna change it up because all of the other double winners I had mentioned were all people who were actually in the top. So they were like right there anyway. But for this one, and I still don't know why she wasn't there, but Simone as Miss Harriet Tubman was hilarious to me. It was so funny, and I also really loved her runway. It was so touching because we were at the height of the Black Lives Matter movement in 2021, so seeing her do that tribute to the Black people who had been killed from police violence, like, it was so touching. So I was really surprised that she wasn't on top. I would have switched her for Rosé, honestly. I think Rose. I think Rose was the Queen of Scott because she is Scottish. But I would have switched for Simone. So to me, Simone would have been a double win with Gottmik. Season 14, well, season 14, if you remember, had only one amazing performance, which was Deja Sky as Lil Jon, and everyone else just, no, they were at the bottom. They were at the bottom. But I do heavily think that they played that up because there were definitely some performances that were decent. You know, they weren't like awful the way that they were trying to make it seem. I personally would have, if you know, if they were doing it in a traditional way and not trying to act like, oh, all seven of you are going to be in the bottom and lip sync next week. I honestly would have I would have had Lady Camden's William Shakespeare. I thought was kind of clever, a little cheeky. I thought that was pretty cute. It was felt like, oh yeah, we hadn't seen a character done like him before. You know, someone really, really old and had that kind of suave way about him as far as, you know, he's known for his writing, obviously. So yeah, I would have, you know, they didn't do it that way. They were trying to play some stuff up, but I definitely would have had just Lady Camden be top two or double win with Deja. Season 15, we had Lucy LaDuca as Joan Rivers, and she did really great. Now, I know that there was debate within the season, like with the queens, of who was like top two of either Marsha as Tim Gunn or Mistress. I think she was the dance mom man, the dance mom person. I can't remember her name. I think Marsha's Tim Gunn was really good. Tim Gunn to me feels like one of those characters that felt like an obvious choice. Like, how has no one done him? You know, he's a campy vibe of a character from Project Runway. He has a very specific manner of talk, things that he says, of course his suits. Like, it's just one of those, how has no one done him yet? And I thought Marsha did him perfectly. And I was cracking up. I definitely thought she was the top two next to Lucy, so she would have been a double winner for me that episode for Snatch Game. Season 16, we had Jane. I can't remember the name of the character, but I know she was Russian. And that was one of those, I don't know why Saphira didn't win, because Saphira's James Brown had me absolutely cracking up. And I loved her runway, because this is the runway they did the dance tribute performance attires with. And me being black and having gone to, I didn't go to an HBCU, but I grew up watching those like on TV, like say Drumline, and Saphira's look was very much that, and it was awesome. She danced a little bit just like how they do. So I think she was calling it majorette, but I thought Saphira should have won. So even though Jane did win, obviously for me the double win would have been including of Saphira. Season 17, we had Anya as Eddie Murphy. Again, another actor that feels like, why hasn't anyone done him before? Because he seems like someone Monet would have done on her All-Stars. Like, because she did Mike Tyson, and she did she did Martin Lawrence as Shanae on her All-Star 7, but I'm like, I still could have seen her doing him. But Anya did such a great job, and a double win with her for me would have been Jules as her Bigfoot. I know there were some people who thought that she should have won, and listen, she did a really, really great job. She did. So I enjoyed both of their performances as the double win. Now, our most recent season 18, we had I cannot remember her name. She did David Attenborough, and she did a really great job with it. I also probably would have chosen Oh my goodness, these season 18 girls, their names are like, I'm missing them. But she, Mikey, there we go. Mikey, she played Drew Barrymore, and amazing. It was perfect. Perfect. Even if you haven't seen Drew's show, it's like you've seen clips, or maybe you've seen the clips, and it's like even the clips, it's like, yep, that's true. That's true. Now, All Stars, most of the All Stars seasons have had two winners. All Stars 1, technically as a team, they did. All Stars 2, All Stars 3, All Stars 4. But All Stars 5, they didn't. So even though Shay won, clearly Juju as Eartha Kitt was our queen to be the double win if they still had it. In fact, should have won. Season 6, very much the same thing. Ginger winning, cool. Kylie should have won as Dolly Parton. It was amazing. She just was perfect. She used her characteristics of her own Southern accent and just her sweet charm. So I definitely feel like that should have been Kylie's win, but a double win with Ginger. They had a double win for All Star 7, and they even had to do 2 characters each. So they put in a lot of work, which you expect from the winners. All Stars 8, it was Jimbo and Shirley Temple. Very iconic. But I definitely think, to me, Alexis Michelle's B. Arthur would have been a great double win along with her. They had a double win in All Stars 9. And then All Stars 10, we had Ginger winning again, but I definitely think Georges as Pitbull would have been a great double win. Now, we didn't have anything on All Stars 11, which is really surprising because, again, it is such a staple challenge that it's almost a no-brainer. Like, you almost feel some type of way if a queen wins and they didn't do Snatch Game. I think Van Gogh getting to opt out of doing Snatch Game on Canada and still winning. Obviously, Crystal Method won without having to do Snatch Game. So it's like, huh. But anyway, those are the queens who won Snatch Game and who I think the queens could have joined them if they did double wins on Snatch Game. So let me know if you agree. Let me know if you feel that maybe somebody else could have been the double winner with them. And I'll talk to y'all next time.